views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hey everybody, I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. Welcome to Open BxRx. It's our special coverage of COVID-19 and current events in and around our community and beyond. Coming up on today's show, we've got it all for you. Got a wonderful lineup. We'll discuss food insecurity and what one group is doing with a goal to put it to an end. Plus, we'll take a look at a program designed to help tenants when it comes to knowing their rights. Then we'll learn about what one group is doing, a group of Fordham students, what they're doing in an effort to discover consumer behavior in the Bronx. We're doing some heavy research. After that, we'll check out an organization that believes music should be accessible to everyone and find out more about what they are doing. And then Bobby C has the latest in the world of sports. And then later on, hip-hop is celebrating its anniversary on BronxNet, and we'll get a preview from singer-songwriter Riz Mir. We call him Riz Mir, Riz Mirza. Stay tuned. All that and more headed your way on Open. Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee, and our first guest is the Executive Director of Community Food Advocates and joins us today to share more about their work. We welcome Liz Accles to the show. Liz,
thank you.
You're doing tremendous work in our community, and we thank you, we love you, and we appreciate you. Tell us more. How are you working out with the food distribution and everything that you're doing in our community?
Yeah, so just to give you a little bit of sense of what we're doing, Community Food Advocates is an advocacy organization that has a coalition that focuses a lot on school food and called the Lunch for Learning campaign. We have a very active Lunch for Learning parent caucus, along with the school-based unions that we do a lot of work with, DC 37, UFT, CSA, the principals union. So we all of us come together, as well as pediatricians and a bunch of anti-hunger groups. So we've been working together for quite some time. We collectively in 2017 got universal free school lunch for all New York City public school students.
Excellent.
And so we are, as the emergency kind of kicked in around COVID, our coalition kind of pivoted to working with the city around its emergency response, food response, to make sure people had food to eat. So we work in collaboration with the city, especially around the school food programs that have been so essential during this pandemic, as well as the Food Czars team. We're doing the home delivered meal. So
I like that.
Yeah.
While school is out, people can still go to the schools to get food.
Yeah, so the city has done a really extraordinary job in terms of food response during the pandemic with the school-based grab-and-go sites, so that children and adults, with or without children, can go get food 3 meals a day if they want. So that's it's really important for folks to know. And I'll give our website has a really good searchable map to find that information. So again, it's three meals a day for anyone in the household. So
I thought it was just breakfast or lunch. I didn't know you can eat dinner in school too.
Well, basically during the COVID emergency, they have
grab and go.
They grab and go. So they're doing basically a breakfast and 2 lunches of what the city's serving. So we're working with the city, the Department of Education's Office of Food and Nutrition Services to, where we're working closely in terms of getting the word out if there are problems at particular sites, working with them to get that addressed, and then also making sure that if there are system-wide things that we're seeing, that those are addressed too.
Yeah.
There are halal and kosher sites also that are serving.
Oh, right.
Yep. And
Hey, Liz, with the high unemployment rate out there, are you more in demand today than ever before?
oh yeah, I mean the numbers and the need is just tremendous. I mean, just given, this is, the pandemic has only shined a light and made it that much worse, the food insecurity issues that are rampant in New York City. So yeah, I think it's 1 in 4 New Yorkers are food insecure. I mean, it's an enormous, and it's job insecurity, loss of jobs, the enormous rental costs, just cost of living.
Yeah.
So yeah, the numbers have gone up significantly. And so, we want to make sure that, the response that the city has been having, that's really been quite extraordinary, that the response continues, because we know the need is going to continue.
How can people help your organization?
Well, there are a few different ways. One is, we mostly look at the role, government's role in responding to food and advocating for strong programs. So if you're at grab and go sites and you see things that are going well, or you see things that are problematic that could be responded to, we'd like to hear from you, and then we would work with the city to get things resolved. So we always want to hear what's going on. We want to hear if folks need things that perhaps we can try to mobilize. And, we always can use financial support if folks are interested in doing that.
Who's supporting? Is it just ordinary people in the community, or elected officials, or corporate?
Our financial support is primarily through foundations, and then we get some support from individual donors. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
You were going to share that schedule with us a little while ago. Is it on your website?
We have, just to say, we have some really good information on the website, communityfoodadvocats.nyc.org, and there's COVID-19 resources. And I just want to say one quick thing. We also are doing a lot of work around pandemic EBT, and that is a stimulus program that came from the federal government for food support funds that are going to be going to all 1.1 million New York City public school students. Wow. And that's been rolling out. It's $420 for the days the schools were closed between March and June. So we have a ton of information on our website. If you look there, there's one-pagers in 7 languages. There's frequently asked question documents. So there's a lot of confusion about what it is, and it's a really important program. Think of it, think of it as a stimulus check for $420 that's going to all families.
Yeah, never forget the people that feed you.
Exactly right.
Thank you for your service. We really, really appreciate you.
Thank you.
That website, one more time, is?
communityfoodadvocats.nyc.org.
All right. Liz Accles, Executive Director, Community Food Advocates. Thank you for your service.
Thank
you. We appreciate you, and we love you.
Thank you. Love you too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. We'll see you again.
Okay.
All right, we'll take a break right here on Open. I've got more. Stay right there. All right, welcome back. Our next guest is Program Director for JustFix.nyc. And she's here today to join us to talk about this wonderful platform. We welcome Analisa Freitas. Welcome, welcome.
Hi,
Freitas.
thank you so much.
Analisa Freitas, welcome
That's
to the
right.
show. Yes.
Thank you so much.
So you're doing some great things in our community, and we want to know more about it. That's what this platform is all about. Of course,
Awesome.
you are driven by the belief that all New York City residents deserve a dignified tenancy with
That's
access
right.
to legal representation, social services, and opportunities to organize while navigating the complex and currently inequitable world of housing. Tell
Absolutely.
us more.
JustFix.nyc. So that is absolutely our goal, our mission, our vision. We're a pretty young org. We were founded back in 2015, and we're a nonprofit organization, but we're a little distinct because we kind of sit at the intersection of housing rights, housing justice, technology, data, and design, as well as all of the work that you had just mentioned, organizing campaigns, making sure that tenant issues are first and forefront. So our co-founders had built our org just to make sure that we could find ways to use technology to actually open up pathways to justice for tenants.
Analisa, who are these co-founders?
Our co-founders are Ashley Trenny, Dan Cass, and George Clement, and they all went through a fellowship that was based in Brooklyn, New York, and it was through the Robin Hood Foundation program.
Tell us about your support systems and the resources that you use to keep our tenants in their homes and in our communities.
Absolutely. So the kind of interesting moment that we're in, for lack of a better word, devastating, also lots of opportunities to figure out how to make sure that people are staying supported and connected during the pandemic. It's been really interesting to have our org step up in this time. We have developed a suite of 5 tools. All are free, all are accessible at our website, www.justfix.nyc.
Yeah, and we'll get that again toward the end. We'll have you say that again. Yeah.
Okay, great. All of our tools that we have, again, can be accessed on any device that accesses the internet. So this means that tenants can actually stay at their home if they're able to, or they can find any other device or neighbor, a friend, a family member as well, that can help them use our tools. That means they don't have to go to the courthouse. They don't have to go visit another office, an agency. They can just simply be wherever they choose and wherever they're able to feel safe, and use the internet to access any of their housing rights and put them into practice even during this time.
Analisa, talk about some of those tools that you mentioned.
Sure thing. So our 5 tools are helping tenants do things like get their rent history if they live in a rent stabilized unit. It helps them research their landlord and the other buildings that their landlord owns, as well as send a letter of complaint. This would be something that they would send to their landlord if they are facing a lot of repairs issues in their apartment or in their building. We also have a tool that, again, before the pandemic hit and the eviction moratorium was in place, would help any tenant that received an eviction notice to find free legal services and hopefully get matched with an attorney if they had the right under the Right to Counsel program. That has actually been a really, really critical tool to make sure that tenants have representation, so that they can stay in their homes, as you mentioned. And most recently, with the pandemic, we launched a tool called the Emergency HP Action. And really what that means is that it helps a tenant sue their landlord in housing court. HP stands for housing part. It's just a section in the courthouse. And this tool will allow you to still take your landlord to court for repairs or for harassment that the tenant is facing from the landlord. And this, again, can still happen completely online, completely virtually. The tenant never actually has to go into a dangerous or perhaps unsanitary even courthouse, or if perhaps they are just not able to get to the courthouse financially, physically, or otherwise, they can simply use our tool, the HP Action, and go ahead and start the process to sue their landlord.
Yeah, and the deadline is here for the COVID rent relief application.
Right.
Are you guys working with the tenants on that?
That's definitely something that we disseminate information about. We don't have a tool that's directly to that. We do work hand in hand with a lot of tenant organizing organizations, tenant providers such as tenant attorneys, as well as some of the campaigns and coalitions such as the Right to Counsel and Housing Justice for All. And we really lean on those partners to help us determine where and how we can be of service. They are the folks that really helped us get to the suite of tools that we have today.
There you go. What do you want people to know about the work that you guys are doing?
Right now, as I mentioned, what we know is that in New York City, there's about 135,000 buildings that actually are have been officially notified that they have housing violations in those properties. And what that means is that about 1 in 5 families in New York are living in an apartment or in a building that has at least one violation, but often many, many more. But actually, tenants do not have to. They don't have to stand for that. They don't have to wait for any of the relief, and they absolutely should not have to. So what we do is really try to put the tools in hands of tenants so they can uphold their own rights, regardless of whether or not there's a pandemic, regardless of whether or not that they have an attorney or can afford one, or even if they're connected to a social service provider. Our goal is really to make sure that we are covering the niche in all angles. Any places where tenants may not have services otherwise, they can use our free tools.
Yeah, that's great. And where can we go to find more about that?
You can find any of our tools 24/7 online, www.JustFix.nyc. Our tools are never closed. They're always open. You can do it when you get off of work. You can do it on the weekend. All you have to do is enter your address into our search bar. And we will pull up a customized set of the tools that we think are the best fit for what's going on in your building and in your apartment.
And right there, you can get all the information that you need. All the tools are right there in the toolbox of that website. The website, one more time, is?
It is www.JustFix.nyc.
JustFix.nyc. Analisa Freitas, thank you so much. She's the program director, JustFix.nyc. We appreciate you. Thank you for all that you're doing.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate the opportunity to share this information.
We need you guys. Thank you for your service, and stay safe. God bless.
You as well. Take care.
All right. All right. We'll take a break. I've got more next. Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee, and our next guests are from Fordham University, and they join us to discuss their consumer behavioral research project. And we welcome Richard Shrestha, Katharine Duffy, and participant Gerald de la Cruz. We welcome you guys to the show.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you
Now,
so
guys,
much.
tell us about all this wonderful research that you guys are doing at Fordham University.
Essentially, we're part of the Social Innovation Collaboratory at Fordham, an organization based on sustainability as well as social equity within not only the Fordham community, the Bronx, but also worldwide, as Fordham essentially is a change maker campus. With that being said, we do a lot of different projects, and this project is one of those projects focused on financial inclusion in the Bronx. So this is stemming from that sort of topic.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you find out in your study and in your research?
So yeah, from our sort of research, we've been essentially doing a lot of academic data collection, looking at a lot of like literature and kind of understanding how, underbanked and unbanked is a big sort of issue in the Bronx. A lot of Bronx residents don't have bank accounts, but obviously that also affects in terms of like economic revitalization, how people are able to get loans, how easy it is to get access for that as a small business owner. So, having a bank account obviously has some sort of relationship, but we're also investigating in terms of our research question, how financial planning relates to financial institutions in the Bronx and to why, a lot of people don't, choose to use banking services.
Yeah. And how
and why it might be an option.
Yeah. And your partners that are with you today, how are they helping out? They're chiming in different ways?
So I'm Katharine Duffy. So I'm the psychology research strategist. So I'm mainly in charge of, or basically overseeing data collection, data analysis, things like that. Rich sort of recruited me because we knew each other before this research started, and he knows.
And because you're smart.
Yes, because I'm smart, and because I'm very interested in psychology, and I've been involved in research before, but not like this, not research that directly affects the Bronx and directly affects financial institutions within the Bronx. So for our data collection, we're mainly doing surveys. They're both in English and Spanish, and it mainly is asking questions about financial education. So like there's a question about where they learned about how to do finances. There's also relationships with financial institutions. So like whether they have positive or negative feelings towards financial institutions in the Bronx.
So that's how you apply the psychology to it.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So doing that, and also, scoring the surveys and using those answers to create, concrete statistical analysis with it.
All right.
So that we can apply it later on.
There you go. And Gerald de la Cruz is with us today also. Gerald, how do you fit in? What part do you play?
So first of all, thank you for having us on the show. I was a participant in the survey. So I am a Fordham student and I'm from the Bronx. So when Rich and Katharine were sending out the survey, they were sending out to people that they knew. They knew I was from the Bronx, so I was happy to help them out and give them some of the data that they needed. I was happy to participate, and I think it's a really important survey and just really important work overall that they're doing.
All right, so what do we do with all of this information that we gathered, all this wonderful research? Where are we going to apply it, and how does it work for our community?
We're taking all this information, especially these surveys, as a way to kind of understand, and also Kat can mention a bit more of the process. All the survey information is randomized, so like your data is all private. But from there, we can take that information and essentially give recommendations to local banks, whether it's a CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution. There's one we've been partnered with in the past called Spring Bank in the Bronx. However, they don't necessarily have to take our recommendation, but we're also going to be pitching our recommendations to other banks in the Bronx to help, support and adjust, their sort of policies and sort of to welcome more Bronx residents to them.
Are you reaching out to any of the elected officials?
Yeah, so we've been reaching out to community boards, actually. We were sending emails and doing phone calls for like every single community board, as well as, starting to reach out to these like local council members, congressmen and congresswomen about this sort of work. Because, that's a way for us to distribute our surveys, as well as just talk more about it to the community. So we had the opportunity, for example, I believe community board 7 and 8 and then 12 were the ones that we talked to and actually were able to speak about this project to the community. Did
I miss anything? Did you guys want to say anything that I didn't ask?
Yeah, so it's completely anonymous. The data is protected. I have access to it, and maybe one or two research people on our team have access to it, have access to like concrete names. But other than that, it's completely anonymous. There are no, we're not giving this to anybody else, so there is no penalties or benefits from participating in this research. It's completely optional. I think all of the questions on there are optional as well. So we really wanted to make sure that participants felt comfortable answering questions.
That's important,
Yeah, and making sure that, there wasn't any fear of telling the truth or, just answering honestly.
If you ever want to like contact us, you can reach out to my personal email, which is rshrestha2, rshrestha2 at fordham.edu. They'll probably put a graphic here though. And then also our website at Fordham University for the Social Innovation Collaboratory, and that should also be a graphic there too. So people can contact us that way.
And to make it clear, your research or this research benefits whom?
So to make it clear, like it's essentially for the Bronx community, like trying to figure out what are different policies that we can possibly implement for economic economic change, as well as like, you know, really focusing on the consumers and the residents of the Bronx and Bronx natives.
Growing up in the Bronx, I didn't get a lot of financial education in high school. And I think that that's part of the bigger issue. And I think that surveys like this that assess the financial literacy and the financial savvy of the Bronx will do a lot of good, because it will help Bronx residents when it comes to trusting their financial institutions and seeking services from their financial institutions, which will better the community overall.
Thank you guys so much, and God bless you. Stay safe, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for your work. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We've got more right here on Open. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee, and our next guests are from Daniel's Music Foundation, and they join us to share more about their work. We welcome co-founders Ken and Daniel. Trush, I trust you. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Hello to you, and hello to everyone out there.
Yeah. Tell us about all these great things that you're doing using music.
That's correct. I mean, we started it 14 years ago, and it was really because of this guy next to me, Daniel. Why don't you tell everyone what happened 23 years ago, so they get a little context?
Okay, sure. So 23 years ago, on March 9th of 1997, while I was playing basketball one Sunday afternoon at my school gym, one of my 5 undetected brain aneurysms burst inside my head. I went into a coma, and I was in a coma for 30 days, and I was in the hospital and rehab for a total of 341 days. But who's counting, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so my wife Nancy and I realized that music reached Daniel in ways that other things did not. So we did a lot of research on music. We saw that music activates more parts of the brain than just about anything else. And so we looked online about 15 years ago about music and disabilities. And we didn't see a program other than those with music therapists. So we said, why don't we start it? And we started with what?
We started back in 2006 with 1 keyboard class and only 5 members or musicians. And today we offer 50 free classes serving over 250 musicians.
Wow, you guys came a long way in many ways.
Yeah?
Yeah, so
we have with you every step of the way.
We have a beautiful studio in East Harlem, 101st Street, 8,700 square feet, 5 music studios, a recording studio, and what?
And a cafe aptly named Snackapella.
I like it. And how did you come up with that name?
Well, we wanted to make a musical, you know. It was fun. And what we realized is that music is a right rather than a privilege. And, our family sat down and we said, instead of charging people and then offering scholarships based on need, why don't we make it free? And if you could afford it, make a donation.
Yeah.
And so that's really worked over the 14 years. Obviously, we're closed now with COVID-19. But what we did was we started a virtual community. So we give private lessons, but more importantly, we have something called DMF On Demand. We have types of videos for our community to enjoy. And then we also have virtual events, dance parties, open mics. And we have over 400 people in our community already, just since May 15th. So,
DMF, explain that.
It's Daniel's Music Foundation.
There you go.
We tried to get DMF.org, but there was a basketball player named Dikembe Mutombo, and he stole us, so he made a DMF for him. But we wanted
make him an offer. See if you can get it.
We're not that wealthy.
He may not charge you.
And so we just love giving. We're a foundation of giving.
Yeah.
We try to turn things upside down from a traditional model. And what we do is if we feel that if you give, people will recognize that and then want to support you.
Yeah.
And it's worked for 14 years, and we're going to keep doing it that way. Our family is so committed. We feel blessed that Daniel survived.
Yes.
That we've never taken a salary in 14 years, nor do we ever plan on doing that. We want to
Yeah.
give back
So-
to the community.
So you give so much. How do you get? Because
We
you
just
get by giving.
Yeah, I mean, we feel that if you show people that they're, you know, that they're important, that everyone should be understood and they should express themselves, they will go out of their way to support you, and it's worked. I mean, we started with this one little studio.
Yeah, we started with one keyboard class and only 5 musicians, and today we have our very own big, beautiful 8,700 square foot
Wow.
up on 101st and Lexington.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so
That's
that
great.
came.
We would like to come and visit you guys when things open up a little bit.
Yeah,
We'd love
we
it.
would.
We'd love
Yeah.
it. I mean, the magic that happens in that center and now online is phenomenal. We have some musicians that are merging verbal, but express themselves through the keys and singing. We have people that stutter, and when they sing, if the stutter goes away, every day we see something new. And it's also important for the parents, because what I learned when I went into this community, when Daniel was injured,
Yeah.
is that people don't understand. And so we also bring parents together so they can socialize and talk about, and where do they sit usually? And
Yeah, they sit in our cafe called Snackapella.
Yeah.
Snackapella. I like that. That's another reason why I want to visit. To sit down and break bread with you guys and talk further
that would
about
be
the great things that you guys are doing. So I was wondering, since you give so much, who supports you? How do you get your support?
Well, we have the board of directors that supports us. We have an annual benefit. This year we had to do a virtual benefit. Foundations support us. I mean, it's really the generosity of so many people. I think when people know that you're pure and telling the truth, they want to give, you know, when there's
Exactly.
no.
Yeah.
And
you're a good example for other parents who have other situations going on. Like you said, somebody came in who stuttered, but when they sing, music is like magical. And then they see the relationship between you guys, and I'm sure they're going to want that too, because it seems so wonderfully made. There's that harmony that you guys have, and you bounce off of one another. And I think that's a great thing.
You know, there was a piece on Matthew Whitaker, who is a blind pianist, and a neurologist took a CAT scan of when he was listening to someone speak versus when he was playing music or listening to music, and his whole brain lit up when he was listening to music, and it pretty much went to sleep when he heard someone lecturing.
Yeah.
And so we just know day by day, you know, how important music is. We wish that everyone would have music in their lives. You know, for some reason, people think, you have to be a great.
Yeah, you have to be a professional to continue on with music. But
Yeah.
just come to our center and you'll see.
Yeah, there you go. Daniel, how has music helped you neurologically?
Music has done wonders for me neurologically. I don't know where I would be without music.
Yeah.
He's a good set. Before your injury,
Before my injury, I used to play the guitar and the trumpet. And since my injury, I've taken up the keyboard and I sing.
Oh, all right. Well, you have the keyboard, and I know you have your vocals ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always have my vocals ready.
We have the key right behind us.
Yeah.
There you go. Daniel, hit us with a little piece of what you love to sing.
Original songs, right?
Yeah. I write my own original songs.
Hit me with like a little snippet.
I don't need clothes from some fancy designer. T-shirts and blue jeans are so much finer. Walking in the park and breathing fresh air, or relaxing at home in a comfortable chair. I don't need to ride in fancy cars or limousines. I don't have champagne wishes or caviar dreams.
I'll applaud right there. Let's jump in.
Thank you so much.
And then
Thank you guys so much. That was wonderful. Listen, where can we find out more about you? Is there a website or social media?
Just go to www.danielsmusic.org. All one word, no apostrophe.
But thank you guys so much, and hope to see you very soon.
thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Okay. God bless. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
You do
All right,
this.
there you go. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more right here on Open. Keep it right there.
Hey there, sports fans. A brand new segment here on BronxNet's Open. We have Gimme Five. I know right now with the pandemic that high fives are definitely a no-no. They are out, but virtually we can have some, Gimme Fives here on the show. So without further ado, a longtime friend of the program, we have Samori Benjamin with us. Samori B, how's it going?
It's going great, Bobby. It's great to talk to you, and it's great to be back on here with you guys.
Without further ado, this whole segment is about basically 5 questions that I'm going to hit you with, 5 takes, 5 perspectives from Samori B. The first question I wanted to ask you this morning is, Lakers clinched the top seed in the West. Do you think they win the NBA championship?
You know what? I'm a huge LeBron fan. And so I always want to see LeBron win it. I mean, the Knicks are the team that I grew up rooting for. So whenever they are not in it, which is all the time now, basically, unfortunately, I want to see LeBron win it every season when the Knicks can't win it. So this year is no different. The Lakers, I have to say that they will win it. It's going to be tough, though, because playing in this NBA bubble, there's no home court advantage. So, and people were talking about during the shutdown what it would be like coming back and if the season would have an asterisk by it. But I'll tell you, whoever wins the championship now is going to be very tough because no home court and yes, the circumstances. But yeah, I've got to go with them. I think they have the best team.
All right, Samori B. Question 2 here on Gimme Five. Here in New York right now with baseball back, I think the trending storylines for both the two teams are their ace pitchers. So you have Gerrit Cole and Jacob DeGrom. Cole right now still perfect on the season record-wise, and Jacob with a sub-2 ERA. Which pitcher is the best pitcher in New York?
I got to say Gerrit Cole. And I say that because he is someone who has put up dominant numbers in the American League, which we know is a tougher league to get through a lineup. This season, yes, the DH is in effect in the National League, so we'll see how DeGrom fares throughout the entire season. DeGrom is the man, but I do think that Gerrit Cole, over the last 2 years, he's just been so dominant with the strikeouts. I mean, I think last year he had the highest strikeout per 9 inning of any pitcher in history, I think. And, he had 300 plus strikeouts, which today you really don't see anymore because pitchers aren't pitching as many innings and all that, but he still had 300 last year. So he's really, really been dominant. And just even his postseason performances, he was good last year. And then 2 years ago against Cleveland, he had a game where he had like 12 strikeouts and no walks, and he was only the second pitcher ever in playoff history to have a game where he had like 12 strikeouts and no walks. So his dominance in the American League against really good teams deep in the playoffs, I think he's really at a level that I would even put him over DeGrom right now.
Yeah, it's crazy, Samori, because we're kind of 2 for 2 here so far. Because I think the Lakers definitely have a really good shot at winning the championship. If someone put a gun to my head right now, I'd probably take the Lakers, and I would also, take Cole. I think in this situation and scenario as well. Even though, again, I think it's very, very close. 1A, 1B type thing. DeGrom, the 2-time defending Cy Young winner in the National League, and they're both extremely good pitchers. I think it's impressive that Cole hasn't lost since May of 2019, though. That's pretty incredible. Question 3 here on Gimme 5, Samori B. We look at the NHL so far. So in the restart, the Rangers haven't looked all that good, and either has King Henrik Lundqvist. Is this the end of King Henrik here in New York?
I think we are approaching that point. He'll be 40 next season. So look, the handwriting is on the wall. He's had a great career, but we know that when you're an athlete, it does not last forever. So time can go quick, and with him, it's amazing that he's about to be 40. But it's going to be time for him to pass the torch. And with the way the Rangers have fizzled out during the NHL restart and how Lundqvist has not been great, it's definitely going to be time for the Rangers to move on.
I think, too, with the Rangers having their, next starter, a guy that started a lot this year already in place, and the fact that, like you said, Henrik hasn't been all that good, I could definitely see them turning the page on him, as difficult as that will be. But I wouldn't be surprised, knowing the kind of competitor that he is and the fact that he believes he probably can still play at this level, that he could end up like some of the other stars that we've seen both in the NHL and other professional leagues who go on to play in other cities. Question 4 here on Gimme 5. Samori B, we take a look at the NFL. Which one of the New York football teams, and that includes the Buffalo Bills, do you think will have the best shot at making the playoffs this year?
I would have to say Buffalo had the best chance because they looked really good last year. Their defense looked really good. They just acquired Stephon Diggs, a really good receiver. Josh Allen played well last year. But Josh Allen, I think that he still has something to prove, and so does Buffalo. I'm not convinced that they are going to be a sure shot playoff team next season. They went, almost 20 years from 2000 up until 2018 without making the playoffs. So because they had a good year last year, after so many bad years that they have had, I have to see it from them again. And Josh Allen reminds me a little bit of Mitch Trubisky in terms of his ability and his tools out there. Mitchell Trubisky impressed me a lot the year before last, his second year, like it was Josh Allen's second year last year. In Mitchell's second year, he impressed me a lot. He showed a lot of mobility, and I thought he was on the way to being a pretty decent quarterback. And last year, he took a big step back. So I think Josh Allen now, going into his third year after having success last year, he has something to prove again to really show that he's somebody that this franchise can count on for the next 10 years. He can be a productive, winning quarterback in this league.
COVID-19 has definitely changed the way the world is right now. And of course, it's changed the landscape of sports. If you had to pick a professional sport that you could see having full attendance, which would that sport be? Which will be the first professional league to have full attendance at games, either during the pandemic or I guess right after?
Before the vaccine of some kind, it's really hard to see full capacity coming back because it's just something where it's just not safe. And it really wouldn't make sense other than financial sense to have full capacity without any kind of vaccine and people still dying at a high number all over the country. But I don't know. I mean, here in New York, it does seem like things have gotten a lot better and calmed down some. And no doubt, I'm sure if the gates were open tomorrow, a lot of people would be in the ballpark and take their chances and not really worry about getting sick. But, full capacity, I would say probably would say baseball, only because it's outdoors. And baseball next season, there will have been more time will have passed from now where there's no vaccine until next season, where there's time for a vaccine to have been developed. So I would just say just because next season is a few months away, at some point next season, I could possibly see the chances of full capacity happening in baseball.
Well, Samori, we're out of time. Always great to chat with you. I appreciate you coming on. And again, stay well, be healthy, and hope to see you soon in the press box.
Definitely, Bobby C. Same to you and your producer, Chris, there. It's good to see you guys. And hopefully we'll be able to get back into a press box pretty soon and get around the ball players again and be able to get our exclusive stories. Hopefully things get back to normal at some point.
Sounds good. Take care, Samori.
Welcome back. Our next guest is a hard rock singing songwriter. He does his thing. He's from the Boogie Down Bronx he's from the Bronx and he's in California right now. He joins us to share more about his music. We welcome Riz.
Hey.
Riz Mirza. Yeah.
How are you, Bob? How's it going in the Boogie Down?
I'm all right. I'm trying to hang out with you.
Well, I wish I was over there hanging out. I wish I was over at Golden Crust on Kingswood Road having a Jamaican patty right now.
Oh, there you go.
You know something? You can't get that here in LA. Not really. You have to search high and low, far and wide to find a Jamaican patty.
Yeah. There's some wonderful things out there, but I don't know if you can find that. You can probably find it. Just have to, like I said, you have to search for it.
I always say you can take the boy out of the Bronx, but you can't take the Bronx out of the boy.
There you go. So you're working on a number of projects, and you have a brand new album coming out this month.
Yeah, it's called Bronx Bomber.
Yeah.
The album is called Bronx Bomber. It drops August 20th, and it is kind of a combination of everything that I grew up listening into the Bronx, because from the Bronx you have to be into hip hop. It's just written into law, right?
Yeah.
Blood. And I grew up in Kingsbridge, on Kingsbridge Road and Fordham Road, and that was where so much of hip hop was around. But I was also into rock, so I kind of was listening to everything. And I don't know if you remember, of course you remember, but in the 70s and 80s, like, they played a lot of stuff on the radio. We had a mix of music coming in, and if it was good, they played it, and that was it. It wasn't about particularly styles, So I grew up listening to everything, but this is definitely a hard rock album. But I got
It's a hard rock album, but wait a minute. Run DMC, a little bit of rap in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. And one of my idols, one of my heroes, Grandmaster Melly Mel.
Yeah, Melly Mel. Now, this is going to be exciting to see.
Oh, my God.
I know you're into rock, so I put my fur on. Who made your outfit?
Oh, this outfit right here is from a company called Sacred Medicine, and that's my wife, Oriah Mirza. She designs these. Let me take a look.
With fur and everything. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
It's all tribal, and everything is handmade. Everything is like specifically designed to, make an impact.
So I'm way off with this then, huh?
No, but that's the original. That's the prototype right there. Everything is built around that basic understanding. You see what I'm saying? And I got my little t-shirt here of my Astro Cat. Right there is this.
Oh, there you go.
There you go,
But tell us about this music with Melly Mel.
All right. So speaking of which, you remember how Melly Mel and dress. You look back at some of those outfits. Look back, he was way ahead of his time. Grandmaster Melly Mel, he did not care about trends. He did not care about being somebody else. He came out at a time when there was so many different kinds of music. It was the turn of the 70s into the 80s, and if people don't know what the Bronx was going through at that time, just watch documentaries or watch The Get Down, right? Remember that show?
All right.
But
you're taking it back.
Yeah, they came out and they had spikes and leather, fur, rhinestones, leather boots, sneakers. They mixed everything up, beanies, the shades, mirrored sunglasses.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that when I was a kid, and it was immediately, it drew you in. It drew you in because these guys were unashamed to be themselves. And
Right.
I think that's the spirit of the Bronx and what it brought for me, right? My parents were Indian, came from India. We were the only Indian family. Now there's all these Indian families.
Yeah.
You know, I was the only Indian kid. Everybody was Puerto Rican or black. And I was just like, this is my education. And this was where I had to, you know, figure out who I was in all of that, because I had so much of that influence. You know, the inside of my house was like India in my house.
Yeah.
Outside my house it was hip hop, it was salsa, it was merengue, it was all of those things. So that kind of funk is in my music, and in this album, Bronx Bomber, it's kind of autobiographical. And so my music is about all those things that I learned being from the Bronx, which was, you know, standing up for yourself, which you have to do, but at the same time, just getting along, you know.
Yeah.
And we had to fight to be seen. We were a borough that was on the outside of what the city was known for. Everything was happening in Manhattan. If you were from the Bronx or even Queens or Brooklyn at that time, you were on the outside of what was in. And many of us never even went into Manhattan back when we were kids. It was like, oh, you went to Madison Square Garden to see the circus? Wow. And that was it. So then suddenly our culture started going out to the world.
So how's it working with Melly?
With Melly Mel, oh my God. So what happened was that we got in touch because he's part of BronxNet, and Michael McNaby at BronxNet, oh dear friend.
Bronx Strong, Michael McNaby, Bronx Strong.
We were this big together, running through the streets of the Bronx together back in 1976 and all through the 80s. And I was just amazed how, first of all, you've seen Melly Mel, right? He's just jacked, and I was again inspired. I was like, I got to get on my game, get back in the gym. This brother's older than me, and look at his arms, But it was a dream to have his voice on my track. I wanted the song Bronx Bombers, which is a video you're going to see. I wanted it to reflect the story of myself in the Bronx. And in the song, I mentioned my older brother, who has since passed away, who inspired me to play music. I also talk about my influences from my hard rock bands that I love from the 70s, which were like Kiss and Judas Priest, and then Run DMC, and then Melly Mel. I mentioned all of those in the song because it made me who I am. And then, of course, the New York Yankees are the original Bronx Bombers. So
there you go.
Melly Mel, spoke to Michael McNaby, and he heard the track. I said, maybe he would listen to it. Would he even give a chance to listen to it? I don't know if he wants to do a hard rock song, if that's his thing. I just took a chance. And I thought maybe he'll think it's funky, because it is funky.
Yeah.
And he said it was
So
dope.
you have Melly Mel on a hard rock song.
Yes, the first time ever. And he said yes, that he thought the track was dope. I almost threw the phone against the wall. I was so excited. And then I was like, oh, and I grabbed the phone, I was like, yeah. Now, coordinating it was amazing because I'm on the West Coast, he's there on the East Coast. So we had to do it, studios, sending tracks back and forth, mixing. He's recording it in the Bronx, and he's recording part of his video out there in front of Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
We're recording out here. The shot that you're going to see in the video is in front of this huge graffiti wall, which is really how I grew up. And my band back in
Did Mike, was he involved in shooting it?
Yes, Mike was part of the directing and the producing of that aspect, and BronxNet was a big part of that. And
all right,
right in front of Yankee.
Nobby, congratulations!
Thank you.
Congratulations to you for putting out this wonderful album. So we'll get a chance to hear it when?
Absolutely, August 20th, which is also my birthday. So I figured, I'm a Bronx bomber too, so release it on my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have the exclusive. We're gonna play it.
Yeah, I hope everybody enjoys it in the Bronx, and hoping everybody's staying safe and well, and we're back better than we were before.
Before we leave, let me see your nails.
Man, my nails, how do you know? How do you catch, man? You got a quick
Yeah,
eye.
I saw you go like this.
Oh, you saw me go like this? Well, my nails are not done, man. You're going to embarrass me now, Bob.
Oh, I thought you had some sort of painting on them. Okay.
I did have paint on them, but, you know.
Some artwork.
I did have some artwork on them, but the last 3 days they've been coming off because I've been playing those drums back there.
Oh, there you go.
And playing that guitar back there. And, you know, things rub off. But next time.
So how have you been faring, I mean, during the pandemic? You haven't been touring or anything like that.
No, but we have been recording this album during the pandemic. And what it gave us an opportunity to do was finally focus on making a great album and getting all the sounds right and being in the studio, you know, kind of one by one sometimes. You know, if I had someone play a particular instrument on it, it would be nobody else is in the studio. Then a little bit like, hey, you know, you want to wear a mask during this? And, you know, I think that every cloud has a silver lining. And for me, I think that a lot of people got a lot of needed rest. I think a lot of people took naps.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we got to recalibrate. And I believe that 100%. This is about recalibrating and resetting and kind of figuring out what's really important to us. And for me, it was getting back to my music, and it had been a while. I had played in New York for a long time. Yeah. And I left it. And then, you know,
I mean, some of the best work can come out of just being quarantined in your homes, you know, and you're going to premiere this, right? It's going to be premiered on the Bronx. Bronx Bomber's going to premiere.
Bronx Bombers, the world premiere is going to be on BronxNet, and I wouldn't.
What's the date on that?
Yeah, on Tuesday on Hip Hop 47 on BronxNet. So it's going to be.
There you go.
Yeah. I hope
Hip Hop 47 on BronxNet this Tuesday.
Yes, Bronx Bombers, the Grandmaster Melly Mel and Riz. We're going to turn it up and blow it up.
It could be Bronx Strong.
Bronx Strong, everybody.
Social media, websites.
They can find me at It's The Real Riz on Instagram, at It's The Real Riz, R-I-Z, and also just on Facebook as Riz. And you can just see clips of the video, behind the scenes footage, and lots of little giveaways that we do. Yeah. All the things that are coming up. So please follow us and we'll follow you back.
There you go. Riz, singer, songwriter. He's down with Melly Mel. Melly Mel's changing his genre. We're going to talk to him about that in a little while. Riz Mirza.
Stay Bronx Strong. Peace, everyone.
Bronx Strong. Talk to you soon, all right?
Yeah, man. Be well.
Love you, man. Stay safe. Stay well. And good luck with everything.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, we'll take a break right here. More Open coming your way next. I'm the Doc, Bob Lee. We'll see you then. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's show. But thank you. We have that wonderful attitude of gratitude right here at BronxNet's Open. I want to thank our guests for joining, and you, our viewers, for tuning in and checking it all out. You can follow us on BronxNet for continued coverage. Always remember this: what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice. Let your choice control the chooser. Remember, whether you say you can or you can't, either way, you're right. So say you can. I will catch you another day, another way. I love you all.